Hello dear students. So we are dealing with the third unit of macroeconomics, which is the determination of income and output, under which we have discussed so far like consumption function, savings function, investment functions. Now moving ahead, and today we are discussing this aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Before we proceed, let me recall your previous knowledge. This word demand you have studied in your previous class, that is class 11th. What was there that time? Demand is the quantity of a commodity. Quantity of a commodity which a consumer is ready to buy at a given price. So that time demand was the quantity of a commodity which a consumer is ready to buy at a given price during a period of time. A period may be an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year. And remember the individual schedule, like for example this is demand schedule, price, and dx means demand of x commodities. When prices are 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then its quantity demanded will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the individual schedule. This you have discussed in your previous class. And similarly, if we draw the demand curve, so it becomes like this: dd, dx, dx. Now if we take another person for the same commodity, say for example it is the demand curve of B, BD, and this is the demand curve for A, AD, BDX. Again the prices are same, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and its quantity demanded by consumer B will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So its demand curve will be like this. This is the demand curve for consumer B, and this is the demand curve for consumer A. Now we move forward and then we make the market demand. What was the market demand? When we add these individuals' demand together, then we came to know the market demand. Say for example, if we make market demand by this, then we will make like this: P, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we add these two commodities together. So market demand, it will be 1 plus 2. It becomes 1 plus 2, it becomes 3, then 2 plus 3, it becomes 5, then 3 plus 4, it becomes 7, 4 plus 5, it becomes 9, and 5 plus 6, it becomes 11. This is how we could get the market demand. And similarly, the curve of market demand becomes more flatter. dm, market demand curve, what you see the common phenomena over here. There is an inverse relationship between price and quantity. At every stage, whether it was a case of individual demand for consumer A, or whether it was a case of individual demand of consumer B, everywhere we see the negative relationship or the inverse relationship between price and quantity. That is why this demand curve slopes downward. This you have studied in your previous class, that is in class 11th. Now we will study the class 12th topic, that is aggregate demand. Remember, aggregate demand is slightly different from the individual demand. What are the differences? What aggregate demand is all about? In our today's class, we will be discussing. First, you pause the video and write it down. Now, we are moving towards the aggregate demand, which is denoted by AD. So, AD means the total demand for final goods in an economy during an accounting year. So, when we talk about the aggregate demand, it means we are dealing with the aggregates. Aggregates means sum totals of all the demands which is planned by the consumers during an accounting year for the particular economy. So, it is the demand for all the consumers. While in case of microeconomics, we deal with the individual consumer, like demand for A's consumer, demand for B's consumer. So, there we were dealing with the individual demand, while here we are dealing with the sum total demand, sum total expenditure which all the consumers are planning to buy. So, here it is the planned expenditure which all the consumers are planning during one accounting year in an economy. So, if we talk about the components of aggregate demand, components or the parts, components of AD. What are the components? There are two components of AD. So, symbolically we denote AD as C plus I. I have told you while we were dealing with the consumption function, we were dealing with the investment function, that in our course of study we are dealing with the Keynesian model of macroeconomy. And in this model there are only two sectors. First, the farm sector, and second is household sector. Although in an open economy the components of aggregate demand are like this: C plus I plus G plus X minus M. Now let me tell you what are these. C stands for consumption expenditure. Consumption expenditure. I stands for investment. Investment expenditure. Now G stands for government expenditure. And X minus M is nothing but X stands for export, M stands for import. This is the case of open economy, where there are four sectors. First, household; second, firm; third, government; and fourth, rest of the world. This is rest of the world. But in our case of study, we are dealing with only two sectors economic model, as the John Maynard Keynes has suggested. So we are taking only consumption and investment. Only two sectors. Now what is this consumption expenditure? It is that part of income which we spent on the purchase of goods and services during an accounting year. And what is the investment means? Investment denotes the change in physical capital or change in inventory of the firm during an accounting year. So this is what we take in aggregate demand, consumption and investment. If we put together the value, we have studied that the equation of consumption function is C is equal to C bar plus By. We substitute this equation in spite of C over here. So C bar plus By, it denotes consumption. Then we have also discussed that investment remains constant or it is autonomous. So we put I instead of I bar. We put I bar instead of I. So this is what the equation becomes together. We can write this equation like this: C bar plus I bar, we put together in a bracket, and then plus By. We can also write this A bar plus By. This is the required equation of aggregate demand, where AD stands for aggregate demand, AD stands for aggregate demand, A stands for autonomous expenditure, which is the combination of C bar plus I bar, and B is the MPC. This we have discussed, marginal propensity to consume, the functional relationship between consumption and income, or it is the change of consumption due to change in per unit of income, and Y is the income over here. Now you can pause and note it down. Now I will tell you the schedule and diagram of this aggregate demand. So this is the schedule of aggregate demand. We are putting income in the first column: 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 and 120. Then consumption, which is keeps on increasing. Here we see that at the zero level of income there is some part of the consumption. It is the subsistence level of consumption which is required even at the zero level of income, because some necessary goods are demanded by the consumers, doesn't matter whether they are having some sort of income or not. So this is that amount of consumption, which is also known as autonomous consumption or C bar. This is C bar. Then consumption keeps on increasing as the income is increased. 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. In our study, we assumed investment as I bar, or it remains constant. When we are saying constant, it means that it is not affected with the increasing level of income. It is independent with the income. It's not depend over the level of income. Though investment can be fluctuated, it has a periodic fluctuations. Like suppose the rate of interest goes down, then the cost of investable items will be cheap and the investment will increased. If availability of credit increased, then the level of investment will also increase. but in our study we assume it as autonomous because we are dealing with the income. So it is independent with the level of income, so it remains stable 10 10 10. So AD is nothing but it is the combination of C plus I. So here we add together 20 and 10, it becomes 30. Then 25 plus 10, it becomes 35. Then 30 plus 10, it becomes 40, and 35 plus 10, it becomes 45. 40 plus 10, it becomes 50, and 45 plus 10, it becomes 55, and 50 plus 10, it becomes 60. Now we will understand it with the diagram. Here we are making the diagram of aggregate demand. This is OX axis and this one is OY axis. This you know already. You have made so many diagrams in your previous class, this class also. Now we see, if we draw the investment curve, it means it becomes a horizontal parallel line which is parallel to OX axis. Suppose this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 and so on. Here again 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 and so on. So what will be the investment curve? It becomes like this. This is I bar I. So investment curve is a horizontal parallel straight line which is parallel to OX axis. This is how we made this curve. If we draw the consumption, so it will start from 20 because at the zero level of income there is the subsistence level, some sort of consumption is there which is 20. So we will start like this, 20, 25, 30, 35 and so on. So this is C bar CC curve or consumption curve. Now we know that AD or aggregate demand is the combination of consumption and investment. So it will start from here, from 30. It will start here and the slope will become similar to the slope of consumption. Why these two slopes are similar? Because the aggregate demand is being changed with the changing level of consumption only, as the investment remains constant. Investment is constant or stable over a period, and this autonomous consumption also remains constant. So this, the induced consumption, or which is known with BY, we know that consumption is equal to C bar plus BY. And what was the aggregate demand equation? It was A bar plus BY. A bar is the constant part, which is the combination of C bar plus I bar. They are not changing. So what is the changing factor over here? It's B. B is the level of MPC, or the rate of change in consumption due to the change in income. So that is why the slope of aggregate demand curve is quite similar with the slope of consumption curve, and it is above the level of consumption curve, so equal to the amount of investment, as it is the combination of C and I. So that is why it is being started from 30, and the consumption curve is being started from 20. So this is what the aggregate demand is all about. One more thing which I want to tell you, that while we were dealing with the individual demand, the market demand, the demand curve slopes downward in class 11th. Why it slopes downward, and here aggregate demand curve slopes is upward? Why this so? Because, dear students, please remember that in individual demand curve, like the case of this, or in case of market demand, the demand curve slopes downward because it shows the relationship, inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. But here it is showing the positive relationship between income and aggregate demand. So as the income keeps on increasing, the level of aggregate demand will also be increases. That is why the aggregate demand curve slopes upward, while in case of individual demand it slopes downward. So you can pause the video and write it down. So dear students, here I have written the aggregate supply. Aggregate supply is the total value of, or total money value of all final goods and services which are produced within the domestic territory of a country. Because we are dealing with the two sector economic model only, a closed economy which is suggested by John Maynard Keynes. So there is no rest of the world sector, there is no government sector, only household sector and firm sector is there. So aggregate supply is the total value of goods and services produced in the economic territory of a country, or in other words we can say that it is the money value of all the final goods and services which the producers have produced within the domestic territory or economic territory. Now as the Keynesian model, in the absence of indirect tax or subsidies, the all money value which is generated or all the value addition which has been done in the economic territory is meant for the distribution of economic factor. We will distribute this income or its value addition among the factors of production like rent for the land, interest for the capital, and wages or salaries for the employees, and whatever is left, that will be termed as the profit for the entrepreneurs. So in this way, the aggregate supply or the value of output becomes the national income or becomes the income of the country. So we can say that AS is also called national income, or AS is equal to Y. Let's understand with the schedule. Suppose this is the schedule. Here we measure income, which is denoted with Y, and here we measure the aggregate supply, AS. So when income is 0, AS is 0, as we have discussed, AS is equal to Y. When income is 20, AS is 20. Income 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. Income will also keeps on increasing 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. This is the tendency of aggregate supply, and when we draw its curve or diagrammatic representation, then we see we measure on x-axis income, on y-axis we measure the AS or aggregate supply. Now we see when income 0, the aggregate supply is also 0. When income is 20, 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140. Here we also take like this 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, we can reduce the gap so we can accommodate our required numbers over here. We can reduce its gap 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110. Here again we can reduce its gap if we are taking the interval of 10, otherwise we can take the interval of 20, then it will easily accommodate. So it depends upon you. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. So here we see that it becomes a 45-degree line. Y is equal to AS. This is the 45-degree line or aggregate supply curve. What does it mean? It means it has equal coordinates from the OY axis and OX axis. Like at any point we can have the equal coordinates. It has equidistance from OX as well as OY axis. It means on each and every point Y is equal to C plus S. What does it mean? The total income will either be consumed or saved. So the income which is generated within the economic territory is known as aggregate supply, and it can also be denoted with Y, or which is further can be understood with C plus S, because the whole income will either be consumed or saved. So this is what the aggregate demand and aggregate supply is all about. Hope you all are getting and you all are understanding what I mean to say. If you have any problem, then go through this video again and again, and you can ask me, or you can raise your doubts over my individual email, and you can please keep commenting and keep motivating others to subscribe my channel and try to learn as much as possible. Thank you for watching.